Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee, and thank you very much for the opportunity to appear here today. I'm a practicing attorney, and I deal with the IRS and have dealt with the IRS on a daily basis for many, many years. What I do is I help people obtain the tax-exempt status or to fit their activities within the proper section of the tax code, depending on what it is they want to do. I want to make three primary points here today. I'll be happy to answer questions at the appropriate time. First, the IRS scandal is real. It's not pretend, it's real. Number two, the IRS scandal is not just a boneheaded bunch of bureaucrats in some remote office, contrary to what the President of the United States told the American people on Sunday. And number three, the IRS scandal is not over. It is continuing to this day, and the Department of Justice investigation is a sham. It is a non-existent investigation. With regard to point number one, let me tell you in one sentence what the IRS scandal is. The IRS, at the direction of some political elites in Washington, not in Cincinnati, but Washington, took what had been for decades a process of reviewing applications for exempt status that for a 501c4 organization could be expected to take 3 to 4 weeks. And they converted that process into one that took 3 to 4 years and in some cases is still not over. Number two, the line agents in the IRS had their work disrupted and halted by Washington. In 2010, True the Vote filed his application for C3 status and did not obtain that C3 status until we sued the IRS. So in September, they granted it. People shouldn't have to sue to get their tax-exempt status. And when Lois Lerner and President Obama accused line agents in Cincinnati of being responsible, ladies and gentlemen, that is a lie. And I knew when Lois Lerner said that in May of 2010 that it was, when she admitted that it was happening, after we knew it was happening, it's sort of like we knew we were targeted. It's just that she finally admitted it. But I knew it hadn't happened in Cincinnati because the first time I really became aware of this was with a group that I represent. We filed for tax-exempt status in October of 2009. And besides cashing our check for our filing fee, we did not hear from the IRS again until June of 2010. And we didn't hear from Cincinnati. We heard from Washington. That group did one thing. It lobbied against Obamacare in the fall of 2009 and the spring of 2010, something that a 501c4 organization is permitted to spend 100% of its program expenditures doing. We did not get the tax-exempt status for that organization until July of 2013. When I took on the representation of Catherine Engelbrecht and her two organizations in the fall of 2011, this is now a year after she has sent her application to the IRS, and she's heard nothing. And when I talked to the assigned agent in Cincinnati in October of 2011, saying we're going to supplement the application to try to help make it easier for you to process, he told me at the time, oh, there's a task force in Washington. We can't do anything until we hear back from Washington. Number three, this scandal is not over. The lying has not stopped. I represent one Tea Party group, Tea Party Patriots, who applied in December of 2010. They still don't have their C4 status. There are lies upon lies in this ugly episode. The commissioner of the IRS lied to Congress, I believe it was this committee, in March of 2012 or April of 2012 when he said there was no targeting. How many communications from the IRS to members of Congress who inquired about the status of applications and whether there was targeting? How many communications were there in which agents of the IRS told Congress that there was no targeting? Those are lies. Lying to Congress is a crime. The Department of Justice has refused to investigate who it was who was responsible for releasing the confidential tax information of Koch Industries to the President's economic advisor, who in turn released it to the press, or who released the National Organization of Marriage's tax return. I represent NOM. We've sued the IRS to try to get to the bottom of why our confidential tax information was made available to our political opponents. Where's the FBI in investigating? That is a criminal offense. It is a criminal offense to have also for the IRS to have released the confidential donor information of the Texas Public Policy Foundation and the Republican Governor's Public Policy Council, conservative organizations whose donor information was released by the IRS. That's a criminal offense. Who's investigating that? And then finally, the lies. Again, it is a lie. It is a felony to lie to a federal agency. And yet, the IRS, on the day after Thanksgiving, in proposing these regulations, the agent from the IRS who transmitted those proposed regulations in the formal publication says that there are no related documents. That's what it says on the website. Related documents, none. Yet, I have submitted a FOIA request on behalf of Tea Party Patriots for the underlying background documents. And they said, we can't get you all those documents until April. The public comment period closes February 27th. So there are no documents, but it'll take them till April to get them to us. That's a lie. And they also lied when they transmitted those regulations and said that the purpose of the regulations, the genesis, was the TIGTA report. There are too many lies, Mr. Chairman. It's time to get to the truth. It's time for the FBI to investigate those criminal acts, and it's time for the IRS to cooperate as we try to get to the truth of why it's happened and how to make it stop. Thank you.